Today on Studio 18, presented by Old Venice Pizza Company, Athletics Director Ross Bjork sits down with Senior Associate Athletics Director Michael Thompson to discuss the three things you need to know about game day this week versus LSU, Ole Miss soccer in the NCAA tournament, cross country in the NCAA championships, volleyball senior day, construction updates on the Pavilion and the North End Zone, men's and women's hoops updates, and baseball seat and parking selection. We will also be taking your questions, so email them at studio18@olemiss.edu or tweet us using hashtag AskRoss. Now, from the Hollingsworth Manning Room, here are Senior Associate Athletics Director Michael Thompson and Ole Miss Athletics Director Ross Bjork.
Good afternoon and welcome to Studio 18, presented by Old Venice Pizza Company. This fall, we're airing the show on the Wednesdays before home games so that you can get your questions answered by Athletics Director Ross Bjork. You can ask those questions a couple of different ways. Go to olemissports.com and click the Ask Ross link at the very top of the page, or you can use Twitter and the hashtag AskRoss. So thanks, Ross, for being here.
Great to be here in the Hollingsworth Manning Room.
That's right. Just across the hall from the Manning Room itself, where we filmed an episode earlier this year.
Absolutely.
It's a pretty cool place. A lot of history.
A lot of history in this room.
A lot of history in
No
here. We have a huge week. We had a big week last week. Yes,
I heard about that.
Yeah, we had 4 events last Friday. It was a crazy day on campus.
2 events on Sunday.
2 events on
Volleyball
Sunday.
and women's basketball.
It was big. So let's get to the 3 things to know video for this week. We have LSU coming in to play football at 2:30 on Saturday, and on their 3 things video, we talked about our seniors. Talk a little bit about their contribution to this team and what we're going to do on Saturday.
Well, it's Coach Freeze's first recruiting class, back to 2012 when he signed these young men, and, really just what they've meant to the program. I look at guys like Mike Hilton and the character that he stands for and how hard he plays each and every down, and, Channing Ward, who's had some obstacles that he's had to overcome, but he plays hard on every play, and we can go on and on down the list. But to recognize this senior class for really creating the foundation for what we have today, where we are a national, relevant, in the conversation football program, this late in the year. That's what we're striving for. Now we have to complete it, win championships, but this class will be remembered for setting that foundation.
Some major accomplishments. First senior class since 2000 to go bowling in 4 consecutive years. I mean, that's amazing.
Already at 31 wins, and those type of things again signify that our program is back, that we're consistent, that we compete at the highest level, and plus these young men, a lot of them are on track to graduate within that 4-year window, and we're going to help them achieve their goals.
That's big. So with that success comes huge crowds, and with huge crowds comes people who are always trying to probably make a quick buck. So we've got some counterfeit tickets out there. That's the second thing of the 3 things. Talk a little bit about the counterfeit tickets and how people can protect themselves from that.
It's great. This will be our 15th game in a row, over 60,000 people. That's never happened, obviously, in the history of the program. But with that, comes extra demand, comes, scrutiny, comes counterfeit tickets like we've had. The Arkansas game, we had almost 100 tickets that people walked up to the gate expecting to get in. We scanned their ticket, and it's already been used by somebody else. And so they bought them in the Grove, they bought them on the street corner, they bought them along All-American Drive, whatever it might be, or maybe they bought them online, from an unauthorized, ticket seller. And so people have to be really careful to make sure that they have a primary ticket in hand, or they're buying it from a guaranteed ticket provider, like Vivid Seats. We have a partnership with Vivid Seats. They can do that and purchase their tickets that way. But be careful. This game is hot, right? LSU, it's a rivalry game. It's our last game of the year at home. People want this ticket. We've had demand for this game for a long time, and so people really have to be careful to make sure they know where they're buying their tickets from. And if they learn of something, find a police officer. Go to our ticket window and, alert us so we can, try to be proactive and stop those people. Last year we had some arrests and we'd love to catch the people that are selling these tickets if we can find them.
Speaking of last home game, it marks the end of the North End Zone structure as we know it. So that's really exciting. As a graduate of here and somebody that's been around and seen that North End Zone for many years, I've been kind of waiting for this day, for that North End Zone to be bowled in. Talk a little bit about what happens after the LSU game in the process?
I've heard about the north end zone since I got here.
Yep.
It's been a topic of conversation. People are ready to see those bleachers be gone swiftly, I think. So, there's been some work done already in the last couple of weeks where we had to do some test piling where they're drilling all the way down, 40 or 50 feet to set the foundations for what's going to be built. We had to take the trees down along that north end zone between the bleachers and the scoreboard, so it looks a little different. But all that is in preparation for what's to come, and that's complete the seating bowl. Vaught Hemingway Stadium is over 100 years old, right? That site is. The stadium itself is 100 years old, and so to be able to complete the seating bowl, to really have a final product, if you will, that gets us to a point where we're going to have the largest stadium in the state of Mississippi, over 64,000 seats, to bowl it in, to have 2 new video boards in the south end zone, have the north end zone video board complete. It really just signifies, progress, that our fans have jumped in, our donors have jumped in. We've reached our campaign goal, and we're going to announce a stretch goal as well. So all those things are happening because the Ole Miss family, is pulling the rope in the same direction. And so the north end zone is another example that we're about excellence, and we want our stadium to be about excellence. We can also, there's a lot to this, so bear with me, but there's also an addition of student seating. We need more student seats, right? Our students' population is growing, the demand is growing, we're able to add 10,000 seats for students. So, all those things tie into a great atmosphere. We've got to supply a home field advantage for our student athletes to compete at the highest level, and can't wait to see it done September 10th, 2016.
Yeah, it's a quick turn. They'll need every day that they can get.
It really is, and this prep work has allowed them
Right.
to accelerate, to get a jump start, and then as soon as that game hits 0, we'll see some movement there in the north end zone.
It's awesome. So let's shift gears just a little bit. Those are the 3 things to know about this weekend's
Right.
game. But soccer is advancing into the NCAA tournament. What a great season by Coach Mott and our student athletes over there. Talk a little bit about that.
So much excitement in the soccer program. This is the second year in a row advancing to the round of 32. Second year in a row hosting an NCAA tournament game. We had our highest ranking ever at number 12 in the country. So everything signifies that soccer has a foundation for success. Now we want to advance, right? We want to win this second round game, get to the Sweet 16. The SEC is a tough soccer league. So if you go through the entire SEC season like we did, finish 3rd in the SEC, highest finish ever, those things will prepare you, for what's ahead at Clemson. Very tough team. Coach Mott expects a low-scoring match, but our defense is suited for that. And so I know our ladies are ready to compete, and we're going to send them off on Wednesday, and they'll compete on Friday at 6 Central Time. So we'll be pulling for the Ole Miss Rebels to advance.
And they're not the only ones in the NCAA's cross country?
We've really talked about, hey, the new normal around here is we expect to compete, on the national stage. And, men's cross country is another example. We finished 2nd last year in the SEC meet. This year we finished 3rd. That's never happened, again, in the history of the program. Back-to-back top 3 finishes. And then they got 2nd in the region last year. So they now advance to the national meet this Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky. 12 noon Central Time is when they run. And, last year we finished 29th out of 32 teams, and we had our best runner get hurt. So I know our athletes, our men, are hungry to get into that top 15, get into that top 10, run the best race of their life. I saw them out running this morning, preparing and training. So they're hungry, again, to show that Ole Miss track and field really can be a national contender. The women also improved, didn't make the national meet, but they improved as well. So a lot of great things happening in sports that don't get as much notoriety, frankly. To have, top 25, top 32 programs, top 5 finishes in the SEC. We're trying to compete for championships, but in order to compete, you got to be at the top, and we're knocking on the door.
They're not the only fall sport still going. We have Senior Day for volleyball on Sunday. What a great season they've had.
Yeah, to me, the Senior Day signifies a culmination. We always tell the freshmen, don't blink, because it'll go by fast. And then when those seniors run out of the tunnel, like in volleyball and football this weekend, they're going, man, where did the time go? Well, we told you, we warned you.
Right.
And so, it's always important to sort of cherish the journey. And, our senior class in volleyball has set the stage, set the foundation for what we're doing under Coach McRoberts. They've only had him for 2 years, but the excellence that's being established, we had our most wins at home by beating LSU this past Sunday in the history of the program. So many other things are being accomplished in volleyball. So the Gillum Center is pretty hot right now.
It is.
In terms of soccer and volleyball. Softball is on the rise as well, and we're getting ready to renovate that building and expand it. So it's an exciting building over there.
And the Pavilion is man, we're 50 days?
We are 50 days away
50.
from opening night, January 7th. We keep pounding that right on the memory of everyone in the Ole Miss family, is that, hey, again, a game changer, for the entire campus, really. You think about the location, you think about the food court, you think about being able to host concerts in there, which we hope to be able to announce our first concert here coming up. But then basketball, tips off in a venue that we've never had. We've never had it for our student athletes. We've never had it for our fans. We've never had the students right around the court like we'll have. And so can't wait for 50 days to start counting down the timeline to be in there for opening night on January 7th. And really that weekend, as we all know, we're going to play on Thursday night. The men will play again on Saturday. And then the women will come back and play their first game in the Pavilion on Sunday against Florida. So really a whole weekend to celebrate what this building means to the Ole Miss community.
Every time I go in there to tour and look at something, I kind of have to pinch myself to know that it's actually happening. It's really a fascinating building. It's a gorgeous setup.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to believe that it's actually going to happen.
Being in the Tad Pad, the first couple weeks of basketball, and then you walk in the Pavilion, and the scale of the building,
oh my goodness,
is just mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing.
I mean, just the club areas, the concourse areas, the north lobby, the outside plaza areas, the roof structure, obviously the center-hung video board. The scale of it is just, phenomenal for, again, a home court advantage, student-athlete welfare, having locker rooms, training rooms that, frankly, we just haven't had, here in the modern era of college sports. So it's exciting to walk in there. And every day there's something new, right? They're testing the video boards now. They're laying more concrete around the exterior. The seats are almost installed. The retractable seats are being installed. So a lot of milestones being hit as we approach January 7th.
Yeah, and last week we were excited to announce the C-Spire Speed Zone, which is kind of taking over that whole north lobby, and what a unique place that will be for our students and fans, with the fastest, technology and bandwidth for internet speed anywhere. And so it's going to be a neat experience for everybody.
We've talked about the Pavilion being a destination, not just on game day, but every day of the week. And, it has to be cool, right? It has to be a cool place. And so this speed zone, this hangout area, will be a cool place. There'll be some cool furniture. There'll be a lot of technology. You'll be able to buy a phone. You'll be able to buy a charger if you want from the C-Spire kiosk. So C-Spire has stepped up in a big way, and we appreciate their partnership, and you, Mina, and what he means to the program, and the Creekmore family. But this will be a really cool factor for people to just hang out there in the speed zone, there in the Pavilion.
And so, talking about Pavilion, talk a little bit about basketball, where we are. We've played a few games in the Tad Pad now.
Yeah, we've tipped it off. I think people are ready to get out of the Tad Pad. I wish our crowds would be a little bit bigger, honestly, to support our teams. But I think people are really excited about what's ahead. So we really need to really kind of plow through these games. We've got 3 games left on the men's side, which is hard to believe, and then a handful of games on the women's side to close out the Tad Pad in early January. But we need to support our basketball teams. A lot of excitement, tons of athleticism in both rosters, a lot of new faces. I think if people come out and watch this team, they'll realize that, hey, our basketball programs have changed, evolved, gotten better, and we expect to compete at the highest level.
So, and we're talking about basketball now, but the baseball seat selection and parking email went out this week. So a lot of time slots for picking baseball. It really doesn't ever stop in college athletics. They're always planning for some sort of season. So it's hard to believe that we're talking at the beginning of basketball, but also baseball seat selection?
Baseball, throws the first pitch, in February,
It's
so,
amazing.
hopefully the weather cooperates. But, I look at our team and what they've gone through. They're doing the Omaha Challenge this week, which is really a sort of a physical competition to see, the athletes excel, sort of differently other than the baseball skill side of it. So they're working hard. I mean, our roster really is super talented this year. Tons of pitching depth, a lot of talent in the field. And so the baseball selection deal is another way to engage technology. It's another way for people to really dictate how they want to view the game, where do they want to sit, and make it more efficient. So I think we've done that. We've sold more tickets at this point in time than we ever have for baseball. We've accelerated the timeline a little bit more using this technology. So it's hard to believe that once we turn that page to 2016, we're only a few weeks from baseball season, but people love baseball here. It's an electric atmosphere, and so can't wait to see what we do in 2016. And we'll see a new facility improvement at baseball with a brand new video board.
Right.
That'll start to be installed in December. So a lot of work being done around baseball.
No doubt. This is the second year in a row that we've teamed up with the Grove and Give campaign and the UM Food Bank. Most people don't know what the UM Food Bank is. In fact, last year, I have to admit, before this show, I didn't know what it was, and my eyes were opened, I guess, to some of the needs on campus. Talk a little bit about what that food bank is.
It really is an eye-opening opportunity to look at. There are students here that we take for granted that we think have everything, right? They're coming to school here, they're paying their tuition. Well, they have needs. They have real needs. And, I think a lot of college campuses are seeing this more and more, that, there's students that are going hungry. They're going to bed hungry. And so the UM Food Bank provides a student an opportunity to come in and basically grocery shop. They can pick off shelves for their needs. And so this is a great way to engage athletics, engage the alumni population on a game day where we have a ton of food in the Grove, right? A ton of opportunity where our fans are eating plentifully, they're enjoying themselves. But hey, how about thinking about students who do have a need? So we were approached by some alumni who serve on the alumni board, and they wanted us to engage in this opportunity. So bring extra food this Saturday. Look for the UM food bank. Give opportunities to give your food and really just give back to the students who are in need, especially during the holiday season.
So they're also trying to raise some funds using the Ignite platform, which we've used
Right.
really well.
A great way to really expose it through social media, through a web platform. Again, more technology. So is that going to launch this week?
Yeah, it's active now. They're about halfway to the goal. It's ignite.olemiss.edu/finsup for food.
Okay.
And the 4 is a number. So
Fins up for food.
We'll put the link on the screen. All right, 2 fan questions, and we'll close it out. This is a really easy one.
Okay.
Will there be a live construction camera for the north end zone?
Yes.
Yes.
OleMissSports.com. Click on the Give button at the top right, and then that'll take you to a link to our construction cameras.
That will be a lot of fun to watch. I know that it will be up on your screen quite a bit. All right, second question, a little bit more sobering of a question. Based on what's happened around the world in last weekend, will there be additional security at the game this Saturday?
The simple answer to that is yes. And we've received a lot of feedback this year around backpacks. We've really emphasized no backpacks. If it goes on your back, we're not going to allow you to bring that bag. And it could be a diaper bag that you're using for your child, but if it straps to the back, we're not allowing it to be brought into the stadium. And, you hate to have a tragedy sort of showcase this, but last Friday, in Paris, 2 men walked up to the soccer stadium, right, during a soccer match. They had explosives strapped to them, right? It wasn't a backpack, but it was strapped. And so the way the authorities look at it is if it straps to your body, then it can be dangerous, the potential to be dangerous. And so to me, we've really got to be diligent, especially in today's world where we're sort of under attack, if you will. There's videos out there about they want to attack Washington, D.C., and so we have to be diligent. There'll be more people in town than there have been all year, right, because of the LSU game. So we will see an increased presence at our gates. We may have some wanding of random people as they walk through. The backpack policy will remain in effect, obviously. And so we're working with our local law enforcement, whether it's FBI, whether it's UPD, Oxford PD, Highway Patrol, to make sure that people are safe. This is all about the safety of our fans. And, we don't want one incident, to taint that. And so we have to be diligent. There's just no way around it.
Right.
It's an absolute for us. And so to make sure that our fans are safe, no backpacks, and there may be longer lines to get in because of some increased security presence.
Please get there early. Thank you, Ross, for being here. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Stick around for a quick update on what's going on campus this week. There will not be a sneak peek of the season because we're on a bye week, but we will see you next time on Studio 18, presented by Old Venice Pizza Company.
This week on campus, Thursday evening, Coach Insel and the women's basketball team are back in action when they host non-conference foe Missouri State at 6 p.m. Then Saturday, Coach Freeze and the Rebels lock up against LSU in another Magnolia Bowl showdown. The game is sold out. For tickets, visit official ticket partner vividseats.com. And finally, on Sunday, Coach McRoberts and the Ole Miss volleyball team wrap up their regular season at home when they host Missouri. The game is senior night, so arrive early and show your support for our seniors. Don't forget to join Hugh Freeze and David Kellum every Monday night at Buffalo Wild Wings for Reb Talk, beginning at 7 p.m. New this fall, watch the best college football show in the country every Wednesday at Rafters on the Square. This year, the Emmy Award-winning show The Season will premiere its weekly show on the rooftop of Rafters located on the Oxford Square. Admission is free. Do you have a little Rebel? Then sign them up for the Rebel Kids Club. The Rebel Kids Club is the official youth organization of Ole Miss Athletics. Membership benefits include free tickets to select Ole Miss sporting events, special members-only invitations, and the official Rebel Kids Club t-shirt. For more information or to sign up, visit rebelkidsclub.com. Make sure you download the app for Real Rebels and start earning points and prizes just for going to Ole Miss sporting events. You could be the lucky winner to travel with the football team next year when the Rebels take on Vanderbilt. Download the Rebel Rewards app today by searching Rebel Rewards in the App Store and downloading.